You're saying that that's one of the greatest whistle solos of all time, but how many other whistle solos are there?
You know, now that you bring that up, I don't know how many other whistle solos I'm familiar with, because that's definitely my favorite one, where Paul Simon really just.
But like, how can you say it's your favorite? It's the only one you know.
That's how.
Good point. Now
It's
that
also your least favorite.
it is also my I guess at the same time that it's my favorite, it's my least favorite because it's the only one I know. But you know what? All right, I'm gonna do some research and I'm gonna get back circle back on the whistle solo.
Now I feel like we're in a clubhouse room because we're saying circle back. But if you could just, if I could just interject for a second and go back to your previous point about whistle solos, and just say that we really need to circle back on the whistle solos as quickly as possible.
As quickly as possible.
As quickly as possible. I mean, even if it means that we spend the rest of the hour just searching for whistle solos, I'm fully prepared for that. Let's do it. So how are we?
Oh my God! Is that Yin Yang Twins?
Yes, that's yes, Yin Yang Twins. All right, I don't know. That's a pretty good whistle solo.
Okay, that's called the whistle song.
I think it is.
It is called the whistle song.
All right, then Paul Simon or Yin Yang Twins, who has the superior whistle?
I would say Julio down by the schoolyard still.
Wow.
Yeah, Paul Simon is.
Yeah.
Paul Simon is still the king of the whistle. I mean, the whistle song is really just two note, like a 2 or 3 note whistle. The other one has diversity in whistles.
Yeah.
You know, that's true. Because either way, I don't even think that's my favorite Yin Yang Twins song. What's the one?
What is your favorite Yin Yang Twin song?
The Whisper one. But what's the title? The Whisper song.
Isn't that called the Whisper song?
Do they have the whistle song and the whisper song? There's no way. There's no way.
They're terribly. They're creative at everything else except naming songs.
I don't think so. Salt Shaker. I told you, dude. Oh no, wait, the Whisper song. You're right.
No, Salt Shaker's a different song.
Shake it like a salt shaker, shake it like
and also, the name, it's right there.
Yeah, wait, the Whisper song.
Wait is called the Whisper song in parentheses.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, they tried.
All right. Yeah, we did our best, but yes, I guess in conclusion, we will be bringing more whistling to Supertaste songs. We're always flowing with a lot of ideas, and you are also, I guess, witnessing us in the studio here. We don't have the nice monitor background like you, but I guess we have some lovely analog synths over here on our left that you can see. He's really
the monitors are in front here, so we've got the background.
Sure, I have speakers, but you guys have lovely analog synths. I have one synth behind my chair. That's it. Just the virus.
Well, I really only put one. I guess these are like.
I would definitely count those as more analog stuff. Yeah, sure. Give them.
So we got the Critter and Guitari right here. So just a very little in the box digital synth. And we've got the organelle here, which is also by Critter and Guitari, but it's like, if you're familiar with like Max for Live, it's like a community sourced like patch system. So you can like upload a bunch of different, like you can download and then upload patches from the internet from this like community forum onto this and basically do like anything with it. And then the trusty Moog Siren, where we get our fat bass lines and some of our more like lead sounds.
Yeah.
Well.
If anyone's trying to get into some extra nerdy analog production stuff, that organelle is in the box, but it is also crazy. Like, it's truly insane the crazy grain delays and effects processing you can do through. I mean, half the time I think sometimes we don't even use it for the sounds. We just put other sounds through the organelle and the organelle to do crazy like grain delay and reverby stuff that you can only get on there.
Well, I really think that's the fantastic thing about things like that is that, you know, their intended use is not always their intended use. It's whatever you want it to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes. So can you guys tell me, first of all, there's one question I always like to start with. Could you explain your sound to me like I've never heard dance music before?
Yes, absolutely. I would say our sound, like the Supertaste sound, our vibe. I would describe our sound as disco sensibilities repackaged with, I guess, modern indie pop songwriting and a lot of new wavy synth usage. So maybe washed out meets disco band meets some fun pop vocal lines. I don't know. Was that confusing or was that?
It was confusing, but it was accurate.
Confusing and accurate.
Confusing is okay if it's accurate.
Yes. How would you describe it, Zachary?
I mean, I probably would have used some jumble of the same words, maybe in a different order. But yeah, I would definitely agree with definitely going for like the disco influence with kind of pop structured songwriting. I think trying to use like some more like indie disco instrumentation meets like indie electronic instrumentation.
A lot of real bass lines. I know that we have the lovely Moog Siren for the synthesizer bass, but I would say for the majority of the time we're really ripping I don't know if you can see in the background, but we have two Fender Jazz basses that are our loyal servants that are the axes we use on all the tunes, and we've been able to really, I think, develop the funk end of the sound by really leaning into the real electric bass sounds.
Yeah, no, that's definitely. I mean, disco originally had a lot of real basses too, so it definitely gives it a more organic feel. You guys come from different backgrounds too. Lucas, your Slugfather alias is still super disco.
Very.
And Zach, you were more of an indie artist. So one, how do you find balance between those two sounds?
At first we didn't.
Yeah.
The first time we tried, we were like, you know what? Let's just literally like take half the parts of one of my songs and like half the parts of your kind of song, and see how it sounds. And we made it, and we sat back and listened to it. We were like, well, this sucks. Like this this isn't very good, and I don't think either of us really liked it. And then I think it kind of took a moment for us to step back and take the larger picture of kind of what we had in mind, rather than just kind of like slapping some shit together and hoping that it works. I think once we decided on a particular sound and vibe, I guess a general sphere that we were trying to work within,
right,
then we were really able to start making the things that we're making now and the songs that you've heard from the Supertaste catalog so far.
And I think it's not that we've completely abandoned taking the sounds of each of our solo projects.
Right.
It's that we've kind of more figured out how to make them fit together.
Utilize the strengths that we have individually to add to the larger picture together, rather than just trying to like smush the thing together without any nuance, I guess.
That makes sense. And let's go back further than that, because first I want to find out how you guys how each of you discovered dance music and how you fell in love with it.
Yeah.
I think we both came from very non-dance music-y back. I mean, you were definitely listening to more dance music, I guess let's call it, like in high school.
Oh, totally.
I
was. But I was also I was in like a folk Americana band in high school. Like I used to listen to like the Avett Brothers and like Mumford and Sons and like Fleet Foxes. And I still listen to all of those sometimes, but I very vividly remember there were two the main like kind of electronic music introduction epiphany was I went on like a spring break trip with my family when I was in freshman year of high school to the Dominican Republic, and there was like this little like club thing that would happen at night, and I would like sneak out of like the house that we were staying in and just like go to this little like beach club. And I remember there were all these kids that had come down from Miami like just after Ultra, and the DJ was playing like strictly like old David Guetta and like Bob Sinclair. And I remember hearing like Love Generation by Bob Sinclair and World Hold On, which are both like, they've got like the acoustic guitar, but like still it's like very much a house track and these really cool vocals over top. And I was like, holy shit, this is very, very fun. That was definitely like my first kind of holy shit electronic music moment, I think.
Fuck, dude, that's so much cooler than mine. Yeah, I don't know. I was and I guess still am a hardcore kid, and I love like hardcore punk, death metal, all abrasive, aggressive genres are really my bread and butter in my personal time. But as far as the music I make, obviously between Slugfather and Supertaste, very, very disco and funk heavy. Obviously, I love all that too, but I definitely like in high school for sure, and even still now, I was playing in punk bands and playing hardcore, and was just electronic music was so unbelievably off my radar, and like I guess I honestly at the time thought it was kind of like cheesy and uncool, and I thought that my weird shit that everyone else thought was uncool was cool. And then my uncool finding was, I guess in 2012, also kind of in that my first introduction to Ultra Music Festival kind of range, because I'm from Florida as well, so a lot of folks I know would go down there, and I think I heard Language by Porter Robinson, and I was just like, you know what? This ain't so bad. You know, this may not be my thing, but this is getting me pretty fucking pumped up, and I'm the vibes here. And
Language was like such one of those like throughout like the journey of like your experience with electronic music. I remember Language being such like another moment where I was like, oh my god, like this kind of shit can exist.
But I definitely like that made me like electronic, and then I remember I loved electronic when someone played me. I was on a tour with a hardcore punk band, and we were unloading. We played a show in the basement of a taco restaurant in Savannah, Georgia, and we had to unload all the amps and the drums through, like, you had to go through the kitchen to the loading dock area to bring the shit out. And so while we were loading out and going through the kitchen, some like punk Georgian dude was listening to the Jubilation EP by Flostradamus, the first Flostradamus EP. And I walked by, he was playing it on some like shitty radio, and I was like, dude, I'm sorry to bother you while you're at work, but like, this is the coolest shit I've ever heard. I don't know what this is. Like, what are you listening to? And he goes, oh man, it's Flostradamus. I'm like, Flostradamus? What do you mean? Can you say that again? And so I checked it out right afterwards, and it was the first time that like, I mean, I loved like the Porter stuff, the whatever Zed Clarity, like that was obviously a big moment at that time, but like getting introduced to that bassy end with, like, that was at the time when they were doing like Footwork and Juke, like Chicago shit. Like really, it was like their first kind of foray into the trap music world. And then after hearing that and their original Don Major Lazer remix, I was completely sold. I was like, all right, this is it for me. I'm about to be listening to aggressive trap music in all of my free time.
I was trying to figure out how you were going to make the transition from really aggressive, like hardcore punk music into dance music, and that seemed pretty fluid right there. But how did you end up at disco, of all things?
It's a good question, I guess. I mean, my dad is a sax player, and I grew up like with him. I mean, I'm wearing the Grateful Dead shirt right now, but like I grew up with him listening to funk and soul and jam bands and stuff. So like outside of my personal listening to super abrasive music, I definitely have a major soft spot in my heart for, you know, disco and funk. And, you know, we would listen to like Tower Power records, like soul, like really heavy funk music where it's like super tight horn sections and really technical. And I think the technical musical aspect of that drew me to disco in a really big way, because like some of the disco funk stuff was like crazy tight horn sections and like wild bass lines and the super tight aggressive guitar parts. And I think in those individual components like translated for me in the music that I was into.
And I feel like you know, one of the goals is to, like, I mean, obviously we want to make music that makes people dance, you know, like that's like that's a common thread through all of dance music in general. But I think there's so much in electronic music that feels like it lacks timelessness. Like it kind of, you know, it comes and goes with trends, and I feel like there's something about disco that is just like always there since its origin until eternity. Like seems like it will always exist and just always be just like such a pure style of music.
It's so interesting you say that, because it's come up in like, this is the third interview that idea of timelessness has come up in the last 2 days. And I feel like dance music right now, I feel like people are just churning out music. I don't know why. I mean, yes, maybe they might be inspired by it, but I feel like a lot of people churn out music just to get a look or to get booked or because there's a means to an end. And you never know when you're going to create a timeless song, but there's no marker right now for timeless music. Like, I can't look back on 2020 and look at dance music and say, which one of these songs am I going to look back on it in 10 years and say, and turn on and be like, this is it. I remember where I was the first time I heard this song. There's like
right.
So
and I remember in 2012 listening to like big room house music and being like, wow, this will never go away. This will be a genre that lasts in perpetuity. And then like 4 years later, everyone's like, fuck that. I don't want to listen to fucking whatever. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, cool. Now, and then I guess it got a little deeper. And then now we are neck deep in tech house stage of culture right now, where like, I think it's unreal that I mean, this to me is a pro and a con, but I think it's so cool. Like, it's uncool, I guess, to an extent that, quote unquote, if now, like, at college fraternity parties, like, they're playing Fisher, they're playing Dirty Bird music, they're playing tech house music,
right.
Which is maybe in the sphere of, like, being cool, older electronic heads, like, that seems uncool. But in my opinion, I think that's unbelievably fucking cool, because these are groups of kids who like never were listening to electronic music before,
right.
like
much less like house music.
Like, yeah, like right. I don't know. I was going to school in Florida. We were listening to fucking Luke Bryan. It sucked. Like I didn't want to like. And then now they're like, people are like, cool, put on like a Dirty Bird house set. I'm like, listen, this may not be like exactly what I wanted from this, but it's still so rad that people are getting an introduction to real electronic music and real house music now as they're in that stage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how fucking cool is it that the United States birthed dance music, and somehow almost 40 fucking years later, it's finally coming home, and it's finally getting the respect it deserves. And I mean, when I started doing this 20 years ago, I would have died to have anything compared to what Europe had at the time. And now people from Europe want to come here to experience our culture, which I think is fucking awesome. So, well, yeah, well said.
Yeah, exactly. Now I just need to go back in time and visit Giorgio Moroder and see what he was working with in the 80s, so I can
right.
learn some more disco magic.
If we had a time machine, we would definitely go back and collectively just like sit in on the Never-Ending Story soundtrack creation studio sessions.
Hundo P. Giorgio Moroder was making such fucking sick, like dark synth magic for Atreyu and the Never-Ending Story soundtrack.
Falcor, dude. Atreyu's flight on Falcor and just Giorgio Moroder's like synth heaven. Just oh my god.
Yeah.
Why have I not pulled that fucking soundtrack for samples? What the fuck am I doing with my life?
It's so awesome.
It's so good.
It's really, really cool.
Oh, I love it. So, how did the two of you guys connect with each other? Because I know you guys, neither one of you is from New York, and somehow did you meet before you came to New York? How did you fucking end up there? How did this all work out?
No, so we both worked in music. So Lucas still works in the booking world, and we used to work at the same company. We became friends that way. I used to run a little music event in Brooklyn called Brooklyn Overground. We booked Lucas to spin at one of the shows, and like at the end of the show, you know, everyone was just kind of hanging out, and we just decided to go back to back for the last like hour of the event. And I think that we just like, you know, we were already friends before that, but we just kind of like sonically hit it off, and then we just kind of started DJing as a duo around the city for almost like 2 years before we even sat down to write anything together.
It was cool. It was I mean, I won't say one of, it was my first and only experience where I was DJing with someone, and I was like, yo, I remember saying to him, I go, whoa, you have a lot of music that I don't have, but it kind of works with my shit. And he goes, you have a lot of music that I don't have, but it kind of works with my shit. And we were like, maybe should we do this more often? Should we try this again? And then we started doing it more and more often. And then it turned into a sort of like disco party brand called Not So Strictly Disco. We were throwing parties called Not So Strictly Disco. And then when we finally came time to want to make our own music, we were like, cool, we're going to be called Not So Strictly Disco. And then we both kind of looked at each other and we were like, that's way too fucking long of a band. Like, it's way too wordy. So I think that, you know, if you're watching this right now, you can certainly look forward to some iteration of Not So Strictly Disco as kind of like a disco house party series in New York and around the globe. But as of right now, we're kind of in the preparation stages of getting that off the ground again, and we're just making Supertaste tunes now.
Such a great story. It's really cool when back-to-backs are fucking hard. Let's be 100% honest. I'm sure everybody has had an experience where they go back-to-back with somebody and they're just like, oh, yeah, this just isn't working, and we still have 45 more minutes of this. Right? But when the magic happens, that's a really special moment because,
Right.
you know, trying
It's
to mix
very
two
rare.
people's styles together, it's like really rare when you actually hit on something that really works. So it's great that you guys decided to carry that out into something that's longer lasting.
Yeah, you know, I think that it's even like, I mean, beyond just kind of working, I just feel so much better about spinning, like when we're on the same page and on the same, like, you know, we're playing on the gig, as opposed to, you know, either one of us playing like a 4-hour set. It's so much more fun spinning with, like, you know, spinning with your fucking best friend behind the decks and just like going at it for 4 hours straight. It's so much better than doing it by yourself.
Yeah, and also I would say to that point that I think this probably comes from both of us coming from band, like full band backgrounds.
Right.
I don't really like being on stage by myself. Like, and even times where I played big shows and I'm like, oh my God, I did it. Slugfather's playing a huge fucking show. This is epic. And then when I'm up there, I'm just like, oh my God, I am just alone up here on this big ass. And like coming from playing in bands and vibing with a few other people and kind of working together, I always really appreciated that experience. And once I was thrown in the mix of just being by myself up there, I was like, man, this is way better when you have a partner in crime to do with, at least one other person to kind of share and build the experience with.
Absolutely. Well, let's touch on that for a second, because you guys work together in the studio too, and I'm sure you guys work together by yourselves prior to that, working on music. Do you feel like you have like an advantage working together in the studio because of that?
Because of the back-to-back element?
Or because of, or just having two heads are better than one?
Oh, totally. And I mean, I think that, like, you know, having played back-to-back for like 2 years before we even sat down to make music, you know, like playing back-to-back is you're in constant communication for the duration of the set that you're playing, right? So like you really learn how to communicate with someone, both with your words and without words, you know? So like there's some level of like baseline communication that we started with and just have kind of grown from there. And I feel like, you know, when we're in the studio, it's like it just feels way easier to anticipate what the other person's thinking, to react to what the other person's thinking, to like play off of each other's.
We honestly work like. Have you ever seen the Tenacious D movie? Does that?
Yes.
So you know when they're like they make the pentagram and ketchup on the floor, and he's just like, no, I need you more. Wait, not as much. You're overthinking. Like I think honestly our vibe in the studio is like that. Like he's playing some random, like, no, I hate that. Do something different. Okay, I'm loving this now. Higher notes. Okay, yes, like
a little bit faster.
Yeah, a little bit faster. Yeah. So we're definitely like, I'm not always using, and I think to your point, both of you, that like you really need that communication skill already kind of built in, where like if I was just saying that to someone I was just working with for the first time, they're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, what is he talking about? But because Zach knows what I mean when I'm saying these things, he's like, right. Oh, got you. Like, let's do this other thing. So it's definitely helped us express ourselves in the studio more easily and free flowing.
Yeah, well, definitely having a relationship ahead of time definitely sounds like it made going into the studio together a lot easier.
Definitely.
And the fact that you guys trusted each other already makes a big difference. When you trust each other's musical choices, or trust that you can let the other person know that musical choice wasn't so great.
Yes, yeah. Which is 100%. Hard to do, especially if you don't know someone very well.
Oh, absolutely.
You're like, it kind of sucks. I don't really like that.
That might be your last session with them.
Yeah, right. It's
right.
hard to communicate that when you don't know someone very well. So it's like, I think we both had experience where we're like, dude, check this out. We're like, yeah, maybe we'll just do something else instead. But yeah, that's an essential part of the process, though, as well, that we have started to figure out over time.
Yeah, for sure. So you guys had a pretty monumental label signing fairly early in your career. You guys signed to Kitsune or whatever however the hell you pronounce that name. Kitsune. But yeah, they're a really dope label that has a lot of staying power. What did it feel like to get signed to that label? And you know, how did that happen?
It was pretty mind-blowing, honestly. I think that the conversation began and was kind of solidified with them before we released our first track. We ended up, I think, releasing 2 tracks before the Kitsune track, but we had already kind of like, just, you know, finalized our deal with Kitsune before we even released our first song, which was Absolutely. It was bonkers to both of us, I think. And
because we're both huge like Parcels fans, digitalism, a lot of the really flagship artists that Kitsune has, and to be included even in some iteration of that was a huge honor, and it felt so cool. Also, the fact that I think they kind of reached out. Maybe they reached out to me first on Slugfather stuff, and I was like, "How about Supertaste?" And they were like, "This is super rad. We should do this together." But yeah, the fact that it happened so early was mind blowing. The fact that they were willing to make a little investment in us as both people and artists so early on was very I think it was honestly super encouraging. Where we were like, okay, this can. I know we just started doing this, but this can be a real thing, and we can put real effort into this and have actual tangible results with this.
Yeah, and I guess this is Thursday the 27th. So this is probably the first announcement of this. But we are actually putting out another single with Kitsune next Wednesday. Yeah. So next week. June
2nd.
Their new music Wednesday. We've got a song coming out. It's called "In Your Head." So look for it on all your streaming platforms. And
congrats, Alex. We just gave you the official announced premiere of the new Supertaste track with Kitsune. We have not told anyone else yet or announced it yet. So you know the deal first and foremost.
You love to hear it, man. Definitely send that to me so I could throw it out there.
We'll do it.
Get a little write-up going about that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Please. Yeah, we're super stoked. And that one, to our earlier point of having the real live bass lines, I would say of the whole EP, this one has the most stank face bass line on the whole thing. It's the most sexy and smooth, but simultaneously the most stank face aggressive bass line that we have on the record, and it fucking rips.
It was a friend of ours, Zach Jackson from the band Mama Magnolia. He absolutely shredded it.
I think we sort of had a more like scratch version of the bass line that we wanted, and then we were kind of handed it over to him, and he came back and we were mind blown and super, super excited. So yeah, also check out Zach Jackson bass. Is it Zach Jack bass on Instagram?
I think it is.
Zach Jackson Music, something. We'll find out the official one in a second, but he's an unbelievable bass player. He plays in a really cool band that is definitely not electronic music at all, but he is a unbelievable bass player and really stellar at funk bass for a guy that isn't typically playing funk music in any capacity for that concern,
Oh, that's super awesome. I love a good stank face bass on anything, even if it is sexy music.
It's at the Zach Jackson. That is his that's his handle. He fucking kills it, man. He's so good. We threw up a video of him playing on our last song, Neon Prayer. Up on our Instagram, so you can find him there.
He looks just like Josh Groban. It's fucking crazy.
Really?
He looks exactly like Josh Groban. It's like when he sent us the video of him playing the song, I was like, no way, dude. He looks exactly like Josh Groban, which is amazing because Josh Groban's really a Christian rock sex god, if you would.
I can 100% say that I have never heard that phrase uttered in my life, and I'm here for
Rick James of Christian rock.
He's the Rick James of Christian rock. Fucking A, man. That is good.
Oh my God.
Let me pause for a second and just consider that statement. All right.
We need a picture. We need a fucking t-shirt with his face on it, and it just has that below.
That would be fun.
Yes.
That would be
He needs to rethink his merch abilities and really do that. So let's talk a little bit about how you guys spent your quarantine. You decided it was a good idea to rent a cabin in the woods. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So actually, it's this cabin. It's my family's cabin in Tennessee, and I've been going there since I was 9 years old.
He's a man of the South. He's from Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
I did grow up in
Winston-Salem.
Yeah, in North Carolina.
Home of Pazuzu.
Oh my God, let's not go there. But yeah. So my siblings and I just went down to the cabin once the pandemic hit, and we were there for a couple months. And Lucas and I had been trying to write remotely, and we just decided to link up and have him come up to the lake house for a little while to write some music, and it went super well. And then we kind of split ways, went back to Florida, went back to New York, and then decided, that was just really productive. I think we should go back and like bring down the full studio setup and really post up for like an extended period of time, just do some more writing. And we did that. And
certainly definitely for me, I know about you, but definitely my first experience ever going into solitude basically to write new music, and especially while we were where the vibe outside was like
snowing.
It was snowing and we were in
wow.
the mountains and we were totally alone, and so we were still definitely trying to be like, all right,
we weren't totally alone.
Not totally alone. We had Wilson, our trusty cabin dog.
Yes.
But we were really focusing on like, okay, I know it feels like we should write a tender Bon Iver record right now, but we're trying to play these records like summer rooftop New York City, so we still need to channel the disco party funk that we're used to making. So we, I think we still accomplished that when we worked there, and we honestly ended up making some other new songs that have not been released yet that aren't coming out on this EP, but working with some other vocalists and some other artists that you'll be seeing Supertaste featured on soon. So we definitely have a lot simmering in the crock pot right now.
It's a slow cooker.
That's really cool. How do you feel like the sense of being in isolation helps you create something fresh?
I mean, it's kind of like I don't know. In New York, everything's so crazy, man. It's like your day can be thrown off by like one 15-minute subway ride, and the wrong thing happens. So it's like, being in a place where it's like obviously not a completely blank canvas, but it's like it's much more so. And we brought in some like lights to set up around the place. Brought in some nice like neon lights and had a, I don't know. We really like set it up to feel like we were in like a 70s bachelor pad where we could like just build a fire and like play some funk music. So I think that really like curating the space without any sort of like external influences was really, really nice. And we did like a big grocery shop at the beginning of like 2 weeks, and then we would just like not leave the house.
We didn't leave the house for like 2 weeks. It was crazy. But definitely just no distractions, no bullshit to kind of exhaust you in the day before it's time to kind of get down to business. And I think the flexibility that kind of throughout the day as we were handling our own shit that we could, if we had a free 20 minutes, we were like, yo, I have an idea for a little guitar part. Let's just go record it really quickly, and then we'll go do our thing and circle back later after dinner and work on finishing the song. Just the lack of distractions helped a lot of focus.
Yeah, totally. And it's also, like this is, I think this is really like a place that I've kind of come to call home. So it's like that place is just the space itself just holds a lot of memories and a lot of personal emotions, I think. So it was very nice to just kind of like to be there and just feel so comfortable and like very easygoing, just so relaxed.
Absolutely. It's so beautiful that you guys were able to do that. Especially, it's a really great way to spend time, especially when the rest of the world is shut down and so much craziness is going on. You guys kind of found that time to come together and do something really impactful and something special. And I'm sure you always carry that with you. Do you see yourself repeating that process again in the future?
I would definitely like to. Yeah,
definitely like to. Listen, obviously COVID has been shitty for a large multitude of reasons, but obviously a very nice silver lining in this whole experience is the fact that we kind of had the time and the flexibility to be in a cabin for weeks, months at a time, whatever, and really sit down and focus on what we were doing while still being able to work on what we were doing separately, but we had the flexibility to go down and do this. So it definitely was a nice silver lining of the past year that we got to hang out and make this happen.
Yeah,
for sure. How do you guys plan to present your music now that things are starting to open back up? Are you guys going to go back to DJ sets, or are you going to be doing something live? What's your performance aspect going to look like going forward?
A little bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. I think that trying to be as flexible as possible, especially as things open up in different capacities, and they're obviously like very different needs depending on the venue, who we're playing with and things like that. But I think in an ideal world, we'll have some live elements and some electronic elements. There's nothing that can replace a a fat, kick drum that, but there's also nothing that can replace, a fat live bass line and a fat guitar solo or a guitar riff. So I think that like kind of working back and forth to see what kind of makes sense. It's all going to be a little bit of an experiment as we start off, but yeah.
And the reality is that we started this project and have released all of our music all during COVID. Like everything we've done. I mean, obviously the 2 years previously when we were DJing, doing the Not So Strictly Disco, etc.
Right.
Like, it was us. But Supertaste as a project and as an entity only started in April or May of last year. So it's only been during COVID. So while people are familiar with Slugfather as a DJ or Hundreds Thousands and us playing shows and whatever, it's I think right now we're still, even though it feels like we've been doing a lot and have been working really hard, we're still like just starting to play our first DJ sets as officially Supertaste and our first live sets as officially Supertaste. So I think for us right now, the important piece is just playing as much as possible and giving people some familiarity with what we're doing now.
Let's talk about that for a moment, because there's really like this exciting and new phenomenon that's happening right now of what I like to call COVID era DJs or COVID era artists. And myself included, I've been DJing for almost 20 years and I rebranded shortly before COVID. And my first release came out in June of last year. So, what's it like to be emerging from this weird time in life with feeling like you've done so much work, but now being like, okay, now the work is really starting, and everything that I've done has been in this weird time. What does it feel like to emerge from that and be like looking forward to like the future?
I mean, I think that it's like I keep having to, and we were talking about this last night. Like I keep having to remind myself that like, I mean, while this past year has gone by, some days it feels like the speed of light. Sometimes it feels like it's been 5 years crammed into one. But I think that the realization that like that first track came out less than a year ago, like we're really trying to like lay a really solid foundation, which I feel like COVID has actually like allowed us to do a bit better than we would have if we had been running full speed trying to like build this thing while the rest of the world is also running 100 miles an hour in New York. New York moves 1.5 times the speed of Earth everywhere. So it's like, it's been honestly a blessing to have this time to really like try to build things the way that we want to, and really like, build the right team around ourselves and really like figure out what it is we want to do and figure out how we want to do it, without the pressure of performing live yet, without the pressure of like all these other kind of external things. But
you're making a lot of great points, man. I gotta say, that was all I second that motion. That was all very well done. I agree. It became an awesome opportunity for us to lay the groundwork, like do the, I don't know if you want to call it like some of the boring business shit, like get some of that organized and out of the way, where now we're not trying to assemble a team and figure out how our publishing is going to work or what our distribute, whatever else is going to work. Now we're just like, we have the plan, we have the music. Now we just need to play a million shows and have fun and show people what we're all about. And that is kind of the best part. And so right now, while we're still excited and I guess feeling a little bit of the pressure to write some new great music, we're also just excited that now we finally get the chance to premiere ourselves to the world and show everyone what we've been working hard on.
Fuck yeah. I love that. There's a statement in your press release that I'm not sure if you wrote, but I feel like I want to read it because it resonated with me and I want to see how it resonates with you. But it reads, the Super Classic EP is Supertaste ode to finding happiness in the classics and simple moments. A drive with your best friend down the highway, a kiss with a stranger outside a bar under the streetlight, a post-club dollar slice with the grease dripping all over a paper plate. Finding earnest connection and a community within the music we know and love.
Damn, fucking shout out to Jamie Sloan, dude. That's
it's fucking poetic, and she's an amazing person. Let's recognize that.
Beautiful. Wow.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, so that's amazing.
let's talk about that statement for a moment, and how does it resonate with you, especially now that we're emerging on the other side of this clusterfuck of a year?
Yeah, I mean, it's an ode to I think the simple magic New York moments that we love. Is that like, I think that we have these moments. I mean, luckily, I think fairly regularly where we're at some event or doing something where we step back and we're like, wow, this is really just so amazing that we get to do this because we're here. I guess the short anecdote I can tell you is from literally yesterday. I was getting a haircut. So I live in a pretty like Dominican and Puerto Rican neighborhood, and I went to get my haircut at a spot like a Dominican barber shop where they speak pretty much no English at all. And so I was kind of doing the, like 1 on the side, like 4 on to like 4 on whatever, and kind of getting the communication. And I look at my phone and he sees that Zach is texting me, and he's at a Hasidic Jewish bakery that's also a few blocks away. And I was like, and the barber that I was with, he goes, la paneseria. And I was like, yo, can I bring you some breads right now, my man? And I called over Zach, and after my haircut, I was like, it's so unbelievably cool that my Dominican barber that barely speaks English and these Hasidic Jewish bakers are 5 blocks from each other and live completely separate lives and identities. And we can like kind of, as people, bring the Jewish baked goods to this cool Dominican barber that's probably never had this before, and just being able to connect those dots and have those like amazing, simplistic but exciting New York moments. I think that's our favorite part of being here, probably.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Just like the unexpected, the total like, yeah, you can end up in a place you had no idea you would be, and it's really like a New York night is like you just have to find the first thing you're gonna do, and then everything else just kind of falls into place. It happens, and it's just so nice.
I love that. That was so well stated, and I really appreciate you sharing that story. That encapsulates so much about what is beautiful about this world, and what we can look forward to waking up from this last year is being able to connect with people again. And working in the music industry, no matter what you do, we find ourselves being dot connectors, and that's a wonderful thing.
And you know what? That's a good point. And maybe that being in it like that kind of had made my mind make that connection to be like, wait, you're at the Jewish bakery, I'm at the Dominican barbershop. Let's combine some shit. Let's bring this together. Let's show some people that haven't had. And Unfortunately, I don't think Carnegie Sada is kosher, but I might bring my man some Haritos and see if he likes it.
Hey, I think he'd be down for it. For it. So before I hit our fun speed round, I want to ask one of my favorite questions, and that's, what excites you about the future of dance music?
I mean, in the immediate future of dance music, just like being back in a fucking warehouse at 4 a.m. in New York, and just like everyone else is there for the exact same reason, and you just kind of disappear as like an individual identity, is unbelievably exciting to me. Like I cannot wait to be back in that, where like you don't have to like be so worried about being close to each other or like being I'm just so excited to like get back to that moment. And I feel like while it may not be like an immediate shift back into that, it definitely seems to be happening quicker than I expected. So that for sure is like an immediate exciting thing about the future.
My answer is Fred again. That's my 2-word answer.
Fred again.
Fred again. That record he put out, I mean, it's early in the year, and I think that's going to be the best record of this year. I think it's fucking incredible.
It is.
I love that it's like deep house meets Bon Iver, kind of, is sort of how I've described it to people. I'm like, it's really cool deep house combined. If like Bon Iver tried making a deep house record almost, like I think it's so good.
He's sick, and he's got a lot of really cool features and a lot of really cool ways. Like a bunch of these kind of like massive artists that he's a producer for. This dude Fred again, he sampled a bunch of their vocals or like a bunch of their kind of like speaking little like dialogues, and he also like produced the record with Brian Eno, and it's just a really beautiful.
I didn't know that part.
I didn't know that either. Yeah, Brian Eno is like a huge. I mean, that's crazy.
I think Brian Eno is like a big like mentor to him, and it's kind of like
That's awesome. But yeah, that record's so good. I listened to that and felt like it was a really I don't want to say defining, but a really innovative record in a time where I'm certainly hearing a lot of electronic music that I like, but not always things that are necessarily reinventing the wheel.
Right.
This was something super new, super innovative.
Yeah,
and really hadn't heard anything like it.
In a world of like formulaic music, this is just like the complete antithesis of that, I think.
Beautiful. I love to hear that. I've heard so much about the record, and now you're completely inspiring me to go check it out because I feel like it's been like the talk of the town for the last month or so.
It's sick.
And usually I feel like maybe it's my punk roots, but when things become the talk of the town, my first instinct is to not want to
ignore it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's how I feel too.
100%. And then I was like, fine, I'll check it out. And I was like, well, this is the best record I've ever heard, so I guess I'll go fuck myself. So it's fine.
Well, I mean, I made that mistake with Disclosure because I heard nothing but Disclosure for like 6 months, and I was like, everyone's talking about it. It can't be that good. And then I heard it, and I was like, oh god, this is the best fucking house record I've ever heard in my life. What the hell was I doing with my life?
Yeah, right. Like I guess there's a reason everyone's so excited about it.
Yeah,
right.
It's hard to argue with talent. It's just like fuck.
Also, shout out to Disclosure for playing Slugfather on their BBC radio show.
Yes, I saw that. Huge congratulations to you. That's fucking massive, guys.
Huge shout out to the boys.
So before I hop into the speed round, I want to discuss something that is very close to your hearts: sandwiches.
You fucking know it, baby.
I know for a fact New York has some of the best deli sandwiches in the world, because there's like a fucking deli on every corner. So one question: what's your favorite sandwich, guys?
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm really bringing it.
I mean, I guess as far as the sandwich goes, it probably was a pretty recent discovery. I'm a huge fan of like the classic Italian roast pork, broccoli rabe, sharp provolone type of vibe.
Yeah.
And there's a place called Court Street Grocers in Williamsburg that makes a mean and a wonderful roast pork. But also, I will say the real. I'm looking around. This is between us. But I found the best bodega sandwich in New York. And you can fucking quote me on that, baby. It's a place called Brooklyn Bodega. When you walk in, they're blasting cumbia music. It's popping. There's way too many people in there at all times, and the vibe you get when you walk in, you're like, cool. This is just another whatever bodega in the neighborhood. I'm sure this is good, but it is so incredibly good. They fresh shave like the lettuce and the tomato before you do it on the sandwich. They put it on like the slicer and they're slicing the shit fresh. It's really the most innovative thing of all that I will conclude my statement with is that they put oil and vinegar in a spray bottle. So it perfectly coats the sandwich and it doesn't get soggy, but you have just enough oil and vinegar. It's revolution. It's unbelievable.
You're speaking my language, man.
What is that the classic Italian sandwich spot in Flati over near where the off street speak?
Oh, fuck. What is that called? Oh, my God. Hold on. I'll tell you in 1 second. Pasillo? Pasillo.
So Pasillo is this, like, classic New York Italian spot that does really, really good, like, buff mozzarella caprese sandwiches, and it's just fucking so good.
If you want a sandwich the size of your thigh, this is the place for it.
Exactly. Maybe bring another person.
Like no. I mean that whole fucking thing by myself.
The smallest size is like yay big.
It's massive.
Unbelievable. Yes. So yeah, I'll put that too. And shout out to Fedorow's for a great cheesesteak in New York.
Oh, nice. I love a good cheesesteak. So we've come to the point in the show where we do a speed round. I've briefed you guys on what a speed round is. I have not told you what the questions are. But once again, just answer the questions as quickly as possible. You can answer at the same time.
Are you scared? Like I'm a little
nervous. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a little nervous.
Oh, it's all we're questions. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's all easy questions. I don't know. You guys are gonna find out in just a few seconds.
So also we're each gonna count down. We're gonna count down and we're gonna answer at the same time. So,
I love it. I want to be confused by your answers.
You probably will be. So
awesome. Let's go for it. Sliced bread or roll?
3, 2, 1.
Sliced. Oh, you piece of shit. How dare you? Sandwich on a roll? Oh man, it's nothing like a seeded roll.
Honestly, just a good fucking sourdough slice though is my favorite.
I'm a Dutch Crunch guy, but I think that's because I'm from California, and apparently we're the only place that does that. But
it was so crazy to me when I went to California. I was like, this crunch bread is goddamn everywhere. It's crazy. People love it. It's unbelievable.
It is. It's the only place I found it. And yes, it'll fuck up the roof of your mouth, but it's worth it.
It's crazy. It only rivals Captain Crunch in how much it destroys the roof of your mouth. It really, yeah.
I love a good Captain Crunch, too.
Yeah, so good.
All right, next question. Biggie or Tupac?
Oh, easy.
3, 2, 1. Biggie.
Cool. Yes.
New York
Thank
style.
you. I'm getting my Bay Area card pulled for this one, but I love Biggie too. Next one. This is specifically for you guys. Donna Summer or Lolita Holloway?
Ooh.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Donna Summer.
Nice. Yeah. I was in Donna Summer yesterday afternoon, actually. It's very fresh in the mind right now. I've been bumping a lot of Donna.
Nice. I love that. Next one. Dogs or cats?
3, 2, 1. Dogs.
Obviously, you brought the dog with you.
I'm so allergic to cats, but haven't been around a cat in so long that I convinced myself I'm not allergic to cats anymore. And so I was like chilling with the cat and having a blast. And then I left, and I my eyes inflated so much I couldn't see, and I had to have a friend to drive me home. It was unbelievable. So I'm team dogs officially again.
All right, good to know. All right, this is the one for the California boy and me. Tacos or burritos?
3, 2, 1. Tacos. Yes.
Yeah, obvious choice.
Burritos, but I've been converted.
Yes. Dude, the just fucking bite-sized taco. It's the perfect vessel for food in general. It's so.
It is. Absolutely. There's nothing better than that. All right, next one. Intimate club or festival?
3, 2, 1.
Intimate club.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Oh yeah. There's nothing like a good or 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
You guys are surprisingly in sync on everything except for sandwich vessels, and it's impressive.
Yeah. That's all right. Diversity in our bread. No, but seriously, the basement of Black Flamingo in Brooklyn, at 2 a.m.
I'll take that over a main stage festival set any day of the week for sure. For sure.
I've had some of the best times in my life in some of the shadiest, tiniest places in the world.
Oh yeah, dude! You walk in at 4:30 and it smells like you think it's a fog machine, but it's just cigarettes.
Right, and the ceiling's dripping just a little bit.
Yeah, someone smoking maybe crack next to you. Like, have you ever had that? I feel like I've been at a show and I see them lighting something and they blow it out, and I'm like, cool, that's not weed. All right.
I'm not going to say how many times it's happened to me, but it's definitely happened more than once. All right, next one. Rave or club?
What was it?
Rave or club?
So I guess it's like warehouse or club kind of idea.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I don't fuck.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Rave? Okay, nice.
All right.
I love that was a question, but I fully
Both
agree
of us
with
raised
you.
our tone at the end. We raised the question.
Rave?
I love that.
Oh,
all right, next one. Who has the best pizza in New York?
I did a blind taste test to prove to myself that it was real. I blindfolded myself and tried 3 different pizzas.
This is also based on what we've had. I know that I haven't had the best pizza in New York. Which is tough.
Yeah,
Fair
good
point.
Probably the 2 actually best New York pizzas I've also not had. Like, people consider.
Defaros?
Oh, no, I wasn't even gonna say that. People consider some of the best L&B, Spumoni Gardens down in South Brooklyn. People think Lucali is incredible. DeFara's and other those probably are the top 3 that people talk about that we.
I just haven't gotten to.
Yeah, I just haven't gotten to. But Joe's Pizza for me is the classic. It's just the iconic classic thin New York slice, the sweet marinara sauce. To me, it's not the most not the most exciting reinvent the wheel slice of pizza. But if you're looking for a classic New York slice, to me, it doesn't get better than Joe's.
I personally love a good full Roberta's pizza to the face. That's mine.
Oh, Roberta's is good.
Yeah.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel with pizza. It just has to taste good.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you need. It's
or getting blackout drunk and going to a Famiglia in LaGuardia Airport.
Right?
Somehow I ended up at Penn Station eating pizza.
I'm at the bar on Penn Station.
All right, so
Krispy Kreme donuts, nice.
right, you put the donut on top of the pizza. That's
oh my god, I have had a Krispy Kreme donut burger at the fair in North Carolina one time, and it was something that I'm glad I tried once, but never won again.
That is such a product of the South.
Yes, it is.
All right, fuck. I keep forgetting we're in the lightning round. We're getting too long answers.
All right, next one: snow or beach?
Easy.
Wait, are we talking city snow or like mountain snow?
Real good snow, not shitty dirt slush.
Let's say good snow. No
snow.
sludge. I didn't say sludge or beach. I said snow or beach.
Oh, as like a one-time thing, or as like a?
How is this a hard question for you?
Dude, you gotta pick one. You just gotta pick one.
It's so easy. I'm just
3, 2, 1.
beach.
Snow? Yeah,
I'm a bona fide beach boy from Florida.
It's all about the beach.
I think it depends, because like if I'm spending an extended period of time, I would rather be at the beach. But also, I do love a good mountain snow. Like where I went to school in North Carolina had like really good snow, and it was up in the mountains, and it was just fucking perfect. But.
No.
I can relate to your California style. I hate the cold. It's
too cold. No, it's too cold. Snow is too cold. Fuck that. So the next one, lake or ocean?
3, 2, 1, lake. Yeah.
Nice. Interesting.
I do like it. I like looking at the ocean, but I like being in a lake more.
Yes.
Interesting. So if there was like a lake next to the ocean, you'd be pretty happy because you could like look at the lake. You could look at the ocean from the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I really fuck with a pontoon boat. You know what I mean? I like a lake.
I feel that
scenario. I love that. Just sitting out on the water all day. I think I'm afraid of sharks too. Maybe that's it. Also,
redneck yacht club action.
Why not?
Yeah.
Sharks are far less common than you think they are.
That is true. They're also far less dangerous than the redneck yacht club.
That's true. All right. Next question. If you could have one superpower, would you choose flight or invisibility?
3, 2, 1, flight.
Yeah, hard body.
I feel like invisibility is kind of creepy, you know?
Very, very, very. All
I keep telling people.
All the real reasons to use invisibility are for crimes, and if people say otherwise, they're lying. Like they're all actually for crimes. So I would love to get places faster.
That's the only reason anybody chooses invisibility is to be shady as fuck. And I'm not mad at it, but that's it. Yeah. That's the only reason for it.
Yeah, to do some weird shit. So I'm good. I'll fly.
Right. All right, next one. Massive or serum?
Oh.
3, 2, 1, serum. Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, our opinions are probably swayed though, because I honestly was using massive like 5 or 6 years ago, and
right.
Well, this is good for like dubstep sounds, and I'm not making dubstep, so I'm going to use serum instead. And serum's also, I don't know, I feel like they're pretty similar, honestly. Like
they are.
Maybe that's an unpopular opinion.
No, it's kind of hard. For me personally, it's kind of hard to find at least like stock sounds, or at least like starting points that I like in either of them. But we've had more recently some that I'm into on some serum presets. Especially like working with stuff off of Splice and like serum presets off Splice and stuff. So, yeah.
Fair enough. I like that. Next one, house or techno?
3, 2, 1, house.
Nice. Me too. All right. Next one's a weird. Next one's a weird one. Would you rather have a toaster arm forever, or be followed by a small lamb forever?
A lamb?
Yes, a lamb.
Or like an arm, your arm is a toaster.
One of your arms is a toaster, like this part right here, that's a toaster. Or would you like to have a lamb follow you around for the rest of eternity?
Easy buckets for me. I'm hard body. All right, count me down. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Followed around by a lamb.
Yeah, lamb. 100%. Hard body. I would honestly, even if the other option was good, like I still want a lamb to hang out with. I think
that'd be sick.
Yeah, I think just generally I want to chill with lambs more.
If it's a lamb for the rest of your life, that means it's just like a stunted animal. Like it's never going to be bigger than a lamb.
Oh,
that is true. That is true. But you do remember you're going to have to clean up after it all the time, and it might shit inside.
So you never have to deal with a goat. Or like a sheep. It's always a lamb. I guess
that would rule though. You someone invites you over for like a dinner party, and you're like, I got to bring the lamb though. Is that okay? You leave it outside, and you're like, unfortunately not. It has to be with me.
Isn't there a nursery rhyme about this? It feels very odd.
I've just turned you into Mary.
Yeah. Lucas and Zach got a little lamb.
Everywhere that Lucas and Zach went, I'm sure to go.
Well, understand when you guys are together, you have 2 lambs.
Yes. All right. Holy shit. All right. This computer's about to die. Let me grab a charger. 1 second.
All right, for sure.
Holy shit.
Oh. I feel confident in that answer, though. I think we just have to make sure
very
that our
confident.
friends.
I feel very confident in the lamb answer.
We should have make sure that our friends don't eat our pet. If
I would be tempted as well, if I'm being honest.
I mean, they are cute and delicious.
oh my god, they're both.
All right, next question. Drummond.
Oh my god.
You guys good?
Yeah, un momento.
It's all good.
Nice.
And we're in business, I think.
Yes.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Are we in business?
I heard.
No. Hold on.
Hold
Hold
on.
on
So
now.
something is just not working.
Something's not going on.
There
we go. We're back.
Oh, I heard it. The beep.
Hallelujah.
All right. Next question. Drum and bass or trap?
Ooh, easy for me.
3, 2, 1. Drum
Trap.
and bass. Nice.
I
nice.
was raised in the electronic school of trap. I was just listening to literally nothing but trap music for probably 4 years straight, and then I was like, I need to take a breather for a second. Like there's just a lot of like this going on, and I need to just like chill for a minute and hang out.
I figured you were going to pick that one.
Yeah.
Next one. Carl Cox or Chris Lake?
Ooh,
1, 2, 3.
Carl Cox.
Nice.
Dude, Carl Cox Circle Set is one of the ones that I return to over and over.
And also, if you're a DJ, it's hard to like not be addicted to watching Carl Cox because he's like
so fucking happy.
There's a lot, but not only that, but just like it's so technical.
He's a
and
machine.
interesting.
Yeah, he
It's
is.
so technical, and I think that on its own is like if you like DJing, watching someone where the show is also like a master class is like I really nerd out seeing Carl Cox for sure.
I feel like in terms of dance music, him and A-Track are 2 of my favorite people to watch ever. I could watch a video of those 2 guys playing on repeat for hours and hours and hours and still keep learning something new.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Hold on, I just wanted to say I saw a comment that I wanted to agree with heavily. Festival EDM is not Southern trap rap. I also am annoyed that the electronic community co-opted trap music from like Memphis Southern rap and
Yes.
gold sound, real Memphis era shit like 3-6 Mafia type stuff. And yeah, I was annoyed about that co-opting of the term as well. But on to greener
agree.
pastures, I suppose.
Oh, good on you for calling that out. Thank you. I appreciate that. Next one. Flip-flops or shoes?
3, 2, 1. Shoes.
Yeah. But he's also like a big barefoot guy. He's like
Yeah, there's no like I'm not about this like kind of like indecisiveness of flip flops. It's just like either it's shoes or it's barefoot, and I'm usually barefoot.
and I'm hard body shoes. Like if I could be wearing shoes in the ocean, I would. I love footwear.
I feel it. I love
I don't like being barefoot. I don't know what it is.
I
Maybe
fucking
it's
love
just like
being barefoot.
maybe it's just like a texture thing, whatever.
I don't know. I remember like in where I went to school in Boone, like it was up in the mountains, and there were like weeks at a time where I just didn't put on shoes at all while I was up there. And it wasn't that I didn't go anywhere. I just like never had to wear shoes.
That's kind of cool actually, because if you did that around the city, you'd probably get tetanus.
Yes, you would.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You would.
All right, and then the last question is guilty pleasure TV show.
Ooh,
There's not a either or option.
No, you just have to figure one out.
Yep. Yeah, I have mine.
Hold on.
I've been a little embarrassed about it, but I've been watching
That's
some
the point of
anime.
the question.
I've been watching some anime lately. I'm not gonna lie to you. I watched all of Attack on Titan, and it was fucking awesome. It was
Nice.
so cool. And I was always so down to like think anime was nerdy, lame shit. And then I watched it, and it was like, much like the Fred Again record, I was like, well, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, and so this is fucking amazing, and I can't wait to watch more of this. And now I followed up with another guilty pleasure, and I've been watching like Gundam stuff. And now here we are. But for the chat, don't tell anyone I said that, all right? I'm pretty embarrassed about it.
I mean, I guess like I don't know how guilty it is, but like Game of Thrones, like I definitely watched all of Game of Thrones.
on.
Go
That's a
deeper.
bullshit.
Go
It is a bullshit
go
answer. I
deeper.
don't really watch TV though.
You can't say that's true. I guess that's your real answer, is that he doesn't watch TV.
Fair enough. I really like garbage TV, so mine is is anything that's a reality TV show. That's...
Oh, dude, I rewatched Flavor of Love last year.
Oh my God!
Oh
yes.
Man, bangs! I'm in love with Hoops. By the way, she's so beautiful. She married Shaq. What an upgrade from Flavor Flav.
She married Shaq?
I think
Really?
they're no longer together, but she was married to Shaq for a period of time. And once I found that out, I'm like, God bless you, Hoops. You didn't deserve little Flavor Flav just like looking so gross. Like, you really upgraded in a major way. You're on fucking NBA Tonight now. Like, you made it.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That show was fucking amazing, and me and my wife watched it religiously and still quote it to this day.
Do you love New York?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. What a train wreck of a show. So amazing.
Yeah.
Huge dog Flavor
Flav. So thank you guys so much for being on today. It's been a lot of fun. And do you guys have anything you want to say before we sign off?
We do.
Go check out our new single on Wednesday. It comes out on Kitsune Records. It's called In Your Head, and we're super excited about it.
And thank you so much for having on this.
Yeah.
We're a huge fan of Gold Block and House Philosophy and Alex, and we're super stoked to be here and share some of our journey and thoughts with you guys. And just want to send our love to you and everyone watching and everyone in the chat. Shout outs to the whole gang. And
yeah,
we got
everyone,
a new song
thank
on
you
Wednesday.
thank you for being fucking involved in this conversation over here.
Involved, baby.
Especially Billy J Money. You've been cranking
all over it, son.
So on it.
And
They're great.
So just thank you again. Check out our new song, June 2nd, Wednesday, out on Kitsune Music. And we will see you on the dance floor.
Thank you so much. Stick around for just a second after I end it.
Well
Bye,
done.
guys.